How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the new hire RA meeting virtually. I'm Rob Martin, so I'm going to be hosting this. Hopefully, we keep this a little bit shorter on the end, unlike the one that was in person. So that way, I'm not boring you over just, the voice audio. So, without further ado, we can get started. So, on the agenda, we have any important dates that you have to think about throughout the summer, the RA agreement and position highlights, next steps, and then any questions that you all have, you can email me at rmartin@bw. So essentially, with this RA position, you are part of a big team. We have 55 residents throughout the campus, two hall director graduate assistants that are going to have some of the smaller staffs and help out with that, and then two area coordinator positions that have a little bit of the bigger staff. So I'm one of the area coordinators, and then Rachel Bailey is the other one. So for the time commitment, we have weekly staff meetings on Sundays at 9 p.m. They go at the latest 9:45, sometimes depending on the day and announcements, we're able to get you out a little bit earlier. But after that, we have fall RA training, which starts August 10th and goes through the 24th, and that's around the time that classes start. And then move in, of course. Any requests to miss any part of the training must be submitted by July 10th. That could be through the Residence Life email or through Rachel Bailey. So I was just suggesting emailing to her as soon as you can, especially when you first find out that you're going to miss any time or if you want to miss any time. Missing training may result in housing charges for that time, so really keep that in mind. And then since you all are new RAs, it's going to be a little bit of a tighter chance depending on what exactly you're going to be missing for that missed training. So we would highly advise you to all be there. Winter break closing is going to be on December 11th. RAs stay past 7 p.m., which is the time that the residence halls close. And then you'll learn more about exactly how break closing goes throughout that process. You'll find that out during RA training. The spring opening, which is when all the students return, is January 10th. RAs return no later than 1 p.m., but you are welcome to return earlier. Spring break closing is March 5th, which is also staying past 7 p.m. Spring break opening is March 14th, and then, of course, RAs return by 1 p.m. again. And then the end of year closing through May 7th is when RAs stay past 7 p.m. All right, so basically for the RA agreement highlights, by this time, most of you, if not all of you, have completed the RA agreement that you all had to sign and look over, but it says the following slides cover excerpts of RA agreement, including position responsibilities. These slides are not all inclusive. Each RA is responsible for reading, knowing, and abiding by the RA agreement that they sign on bw.ereslife.com. Current RA offers are conditional. So basically, it's just saying if you have signed off and know your responsibilities as an RA, we expect you to maintain those responsibilities and take those seriously. For academic performance, we all require that you maintain a minimum 2.5 cumulative GPA, maintain a minimum 2.5 GPA each semester while as an RA, and then maintaining at least 12 credit hours. So if you fall below 2.5 at any time, you'll be placed on academic probation, receive an academic warning by the department for one semester, and if you can get it up past the 2.5 for that next semester, then you'll be good. If not, after that, you might and most likely will be stripped for that position. So it is very important to keep your GPA up. So community development and programming, we expect you all during the programming times to foster an inclusive community, being available and visible lots of the time, and then conflict mediation of your floor that you supervise. We just want you to be able to be there for your residents and being able to solve lots of the problems that may come up during your time in the position. For that, you will also focus on your academic achievement and personal growth. So during that time, we expect you to connect with each of the residents, host programs, and host different floor meetings depending on the time of the year. So for communication, we relay information of all kinds clearly, directly, and appropriately. So most of the time, it's going to be either through the staff meetings or through email, and then we just ask you to do certain things, and then possibly we'll have like a checklist of the steps that you might need to take if you have to do multiple things, so that you can make sure that you get everything that you need done, and then we all know that everything that needed to get done is done, and there's no small things that we missed. Any questions that you have, you could go to your supervisor. You could seek clarification when needed anytime. We also have our times for one-on-ones. You're going to hear about that in a second. And you'll be able to reach out to your supervisor anytime to be able to ask questions based on the position. And then we expect you to also document and communicate situations promptly and appropriately. If anything does come up, we expect you to communicate that, even if you don't know that that's something that if you should share or not, even if it's not a big deal, you should at least mention it so that way we're all on the same page as far as anything going on. For administrative tasks, we expect you to check your BW email daily, respond promptly and appropriately within 24 hours. Overall, we expect you to try to respond as soon as you can so that whatever the situation is, we can be done with it. And we don't want the situation to linger just as much as you all don't want to have that on your agenda too, because we understand that you all are students. Same thing goes with timely paperwork, RCRs and incident reports and program proposals. All of that you'll learn throughout training. We just expect you all to do it in a timely manner. We'll probably give you all a deadline as far as when things need to be done, but we expect you to try to get those done as soon as you can so that we can hurry up and get things done on our end as well. Fulfill all duty responsibilities, approximately at least 1 day per week or 1 weekend per month. You'll learn about duty a little bit more as this PowerPoint goes on, but when you go through training and find out all the things that you need to do on duty, we expect you to do that. Follow all departmental policies and procedures. That's also in your handbook. So just make sure that you follow all those. Appropriate use of master keys. This is super important because we do not want you all to either take advantage of your position or your power. And we want you all to be responsible with how you use it. So only using it during lockouts or when we ask you to go check on something, and making sure that you also go with a person when being assigned. And then meeting all deadlines as assigned, and that goes throughout this whole thing that I've said before. Just making sure that you do things timely and appropriately. So for staff development, we have one-on-one meetings, and that's going to be once a month. We have our half an hour windows for each person on our staff that we just get to know each other a little bit more. We ask questions as far as like how your residents are doing, how your work doing, how's your family, etc. And you'll get the gist of it once you start having your first ones in September and October. We have building staff meetings, which I mentioned earlier, with the Sunday night staff meetings, and then that's your time to bond with your staff during those times. And then departmental meetings, those are cumulative. Sorry about that. Cumulative, depending on the time of the year. So, and then during those staff meetings that we have on Sundays, we expect you to actively participate in those and staff development activities. We don't want you to just come there and then not be engaged, or act like you want to be there and be able to bond with your staff. And then RA semester evaluations are and ongoing feedback. At the end of the semesters, we will have at the end of the winter semester, we will have evaluations like that are very, very quick. It's not too draining, but at the end of the year, we have a little bit more of a one-on-one that focuses on how you did in the semester. Throughout the whole school year. So for resources and referrals, we expect you to be a resource to the community, being able to know who you can send residents to if they need any help with anything, or who you can go to ask the questions that they may have that they don't know who to go to. So we expect you to be a role model. We want you to be able to set the foundation of your floor and for the community. Lots of our students look up to you all, and they want to see, lots of people know that the position is not that hard to achieve, and they will respect you for the fact that you are in this position, and they know that you care and want to help out. So we expect you to be a role model and show the behavior that they would want that we want them to also show. Support your residents and staff members. I already talked a little bit about the resident side, but for staff members, we want you to be able to be there for them if needed. If they have a situation, they need answers as to how they can handle certain things. Of course, they can go to us as supervisors, but we also want them to be able to go to you all and be a team, be able to help out whenever is needed, such as like either duty switches or like advice on certain situations. Maybe you don't know how to approach a resident on certain things. You could also go to your staff or even your lead RA. Know your residents. We want you all to get to know each of them. We're not asking you to know everything about them, such as their mom's maiden name and like their exact address. No, we just want you to know the basics, so that way you also can ask them stuff, as the semester goes on, and be able to make them feel comfortable and welcome. Maintain confidentiality is very important in this position. There are going to be times that you hear about certain information that other residents are not going to be able to hear about. Making sure that certain information stays with you or your supervisor is very important in this job. And if it's found out that you are sharing information such as that, you can put your job at risk. So making sure you maintain that confidentiality is super important. You're also a mandatory reporter. So as far as the confidentiality thing goes, there are times where you might be told information from a resident that requires you to report it. And throughout training, you're going to find out exactly what types of details are considered what you need to report as a mandatory reporter. There are certain things that you'll hear that need to be reported, so that way people can get the right help that they need. So to your supervisor, department involved opportunities that we also provide. So we have National Residence Hall Honorary, which is a committee, RA training planning / presenting. So lots of times, at least with our first year RAs, we're not going to ask you all to present anything because we want you to sit there and be able to gain information as far as how this RA position goes. But after that, if you all are open to helping with different skits or planning different programs during the training, so that way we can have a little bit more engagement and fun, that would be welcome as well. Neoho Resident Assistant Conference, that happens a couple times a year for students, and I honestly highly suggest that you all go. I had a really good time. We went to Worcester University, which is like an hour away. We had a really good time meeting other RAs and from different universities, and it was honestly a really, really good time and a good experience. And we had some RAs that actually won awards overall for Northeast Ohio RAs, so we were very proud. And then we have winter and spring break RAs, and that's going to be for the campus itself will be a little bit closed during the winter and spring break times, but we still need people here because we have students that may stay here over break because they don't want to go home because they might be out-of-state students. So we do have the opportunity for you all to stay over those breaks. You just got to sign up for it when the time comes. So on duty, we get lots of questions as far as how duty goes. So from 7:45 p.m. to 7 a.m., you will be on duty for most likely a couple times a month. And during those times, you will remain in the building during scheduled duty hours. On various weekends, we will require all staff to be on duty, including but not limited to hall openings and closings, other events such as April Rain, homecoming, major athletic events, and etc. So we also expect you during your duty time to complete a minimum of one round of the building between the hours of 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. Sunday through Thursday evenings, and a minimum of 2 rounds, one between the hours of 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. and then one between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday. So what rounds mean are going through every single corner of the building, just making sure that everything's going well. During the quiet hours, we expect you to make sure that you go around, and if you hear anybody being very loud or getting any disruptions, you can do that. You'll also have a duty phone. So if the duty phone rings and somebody calls and says, like, oh, I'm locked out of my room, is it okay if you let me in? Before midnight, we expect you to go and help them get let into the building. After 12 o'clock, that's going to be on safety and security, so you can direct them to that. And then anything else that goes on during duty, we'll be able to let you know. We ask you to answer any incoming calls in a professional manner and respond accordingly. With this, I understand lots of people get very scared their first time if they miss a duty call. We expect you to answer every time that phone calls, especially because you can't silence the phone, so it should be on you at all times. And then if you're on duty with somebody, we expect one of you all to have the phone throughout that time, so that way somebody can answer during that call. If you do happen to, like, say you're in the shower during that time and then you miss the call, we expect you to at least try to call back as soon as you can, because you never know what the situation is. And then completing duty logs and documentation for any incidents you confront. So we have duty logs that are expected to be turned in the morning after you are on duty, and during that time, like, the duty log has different parts that will say, did you talk to any residents? Were there any work orders that you had to put in because of any situations? So you could just fill that out. They're usually very quick unless something actually does happen, which you can go into detail, or you can say, for this incident report, you had to report. We're going to include that into this duty log. Student accountability. So when it comes to, like, documenting stuff such as, like, incident reports, we expect you to confront, enforce, and document within 24 hours. If you have any information on anything that's going on, we expect you to at least go to your supervisor just to let them know what's going on. We don't expect you to drop everything and make sure you write the incident report, but we would ask you to be a little bit more timely about it. So if you are delayed on an incident report that you have to write, but it's something that you probably know needs to be reported as soon as you can, let the supervisor know, so that way either they can help you with writing it throughout the time, or we'll find, like, a better solution. Educating residents regarding university and residence hall policies, as well as the student conduct system, while maintaining positive attitude. That's pretty much self-explanatory, where you just discuss with residents exactly what it means to be a good resident and a role model to this community, and just being able to help them out and point them to the right directions. We have health and safety inspections, which you'll learn about a lot through RA training, but throughout those times, we expect you to go through, and then whatever we've taught you on, like, what to look out for during those times, to follow through and hold them accountable for that. And then we have fire drills as well, and then for handling those, we will go through that through RA training, but we expect you all to help as well through that time. Appropriate standards of behavior. Our expectations regarding appropriate standards of behavior begin the date a staff member accepts the position offered. Sorry, it was a little bit of a tongue twister. But once you accept the position, you have accepted the responsibilities of making sure that you behave in the way that an RA should, and being, like I said, once again, a role model to your community and to your staff. You're serving as a representative of residence life and housing at Baldwin Wallace University. So you're representing us as well, and we are representing you. I'm representing residence life. So I want you all to be able to really take pride in making yourself look good, not just for yourself, but for residence life in Baldwin Wallace. We want to make sure that we have the best staff possible, and we want to make sure that we have all of the right tools to be great and grow as people. You are to adhere to all federal and Ohio state laws and university residence life and housing policies, and that also goes towards social media, making sure your postings and profiles are not too excessive to where it does not make yourself look the highest in our department and community. So for resident and RA relationship, if you are hypothetically in a relationship with anybody in your building, so you are to report to your direct supervisor if you are in existing romantic or sexual relationship with residents assigned to the building. For the resident assistants, you are not permitted to enter into a romantic or sexual relationship with residents assigned to your building. And then not reporting a relationship can result in removal for the position. So if that does happen, you need to mention it immediately so that there's a solution that can be had. But we really do not advise you to um, get into this type of situation. But if you do, please report it as soon as you can. Taking time away and making sure you keep your wellness in order. Please work with your supervisor to balance your wellness with position responsibilities and staff needs. Um, Unless time off has been specifically requested, resident assistants are expected to sleep in their assigned rooms each night. Resident assistants are unable to request time off during hall openings and hall closings as deemed appropriate by residents like professional staff. So we understand that you all are people first. We expect you to be take care of yourself, being a student, and then the resident assistant position. Everything else after that is secondary to the resident assistant position. So we want you all to be able to take care of yourself and make sure you're good. And if you're not good, we would ask that you at least communicate that to your supervisor so that they can help you, and then we can find out different solutions. So for the reappointment side, the RA position is a 1 year appointment. RAs are not automatically guaranteed rehire for the following year. So, like we said, with the end of the year evaluations, depending on how that goes, you should be good. But if you did not meet up to the expected requirements, there will be reasons, and then we'll have a discussion about it. So, for performance and growth in position, it will determine whether an RA is rehired for the following year, and then resident assistants interested in reapplying for an additional year must follow the process outlined by the department. So, if you do want to become an RA again, you'll be able to go back and reapply, and then almost all the time you will be rehired unless there are specific reasons or you've been in trouble before. So, hopefully, none of you all have to experience that or are going to experience that. But just in case you do, this is something to be taken into consideration. So for that, we have corrective action and dismissal, improper performance or non-performance of the terms of the resident assistant agreement, directives of residence, life, and housing, or any other behavior that may significantly affect the ability of the resident assistant to perform the duties of the position may result in corrective action. And then resident assistants who are dismissed or resigned from the position cannot remain in the same building where they once served as a resident assistant, nor do they continue to receive any RA benefits, so such as the parking pass and meal plan options. So for the RA benefits, this is going to be the section where we just discuss everything that comes with the position. So you will receive a housing credit equivalent to the cost of a room. They are all single rooms, so you will not have a roommate. You will have a micro fridge, and it's a package, so you'll have a micro fridge and microwave. With that, you'll also get a $250 financial award once per semester applied to your BW student account. So if you have a balance on your account that means you have a negative balance on your student account, the $250 will automatically go towards that. But if you do not have any type of balance on there, you will receive a check instead. You also get a parking pass from the parking offices, and then an option to request a reduced meal plan. And then being an RA with financial aid, so the RAs are compensated in an amount equal to their private room charge. BW grants generally impact by position, so grants are need-based, used to offset the need, such as the JE charges. When need is covered by other sources, such as the RA credit, part of the BW grant covering the room is reduced because it's covered by the RA credit. So if a student is not receiving a BW grant, it likely is no difference in the cost. And then any other financial aid questions, you could go to the financial aid department or call them, and you can find that number on the BW website. If there are any questions, you can definitely email reslife@bw.edu, or you can email me at rmartin@bw.edu. So thank you all so much for your time. Welcome aboard, and we are excited to have you. Hope you all have a great day. And of course, that is my alarm for 5:30. But um, if there are any questions, you can definitely email reslife@bw.edu, or you can email me at rmartin@bw.edu. So thank you all so much for your time. Welcome aboard, and we are excited to have you. Hope you all have a great day.